Oh, my blissful buttercups. This is exciting. Welcome to another episode of Whatcha Packin. We are here with the first of our three finalists, Darlene Mitchell.
Hello.
From Indiana.
From Indiana. It's been a long journey, but we've made it to the West Coast.
Yes. So you live in LA. How long have you been here?
I've been in LA since 2013, so basically native at this point.
Not quite. But yeah. From Indiana?
Indiana, then Chicago, and then LA.
I was just going to ask you, when you're in Indiana, why not go to Chicago?
I was there for 4 years. Went to college there, and then basically as soon as I could run further, I hit it.
So cold.
Yeah, those winters are brutal.
Oh my God.
Brutal.
Where did you go to university?
I went to Columbia College in
Chicago. What's it for?
I have a fashion design degree.
Do you?
Yeah.
Do you?
The girls almost threw up when they found that out.
No, that kind of tracks for me. Let me tell you why. You have such a specific eye for gauntlets. I mean, fashion. And you know proportion. You understand it just because, listen, think of all the different designers in fashion. You think of Moschino, you think of Jeremy Scott, you think of, on the other side, of Valentino. So there's any way that you can go with it. And I totally get that with your vision that you are a fashion major.
Yeah, I think like Jane was kind of the first one to kind of like clock it. She was like, oh, like she's doing all of this on purpose. Like there's an eye and like a finish to all of this. So I was like, okay, she sees it.
Except for when it comes to shoes.
Yeah, here's the thing. I didn't even know I had bad shoes. And I'm like, well, I brought what I brought, so let's hit it.
That's all you could do. That's the funny thing. It's like,
yeah.
I've got 7 of these.
Yeah.
In 7 different
every color
colors.
under the rainbow, I was ready.
You know, being a club girl myself and touring and performing, I have the shoes that I call my club bangers, and then I have, you know, dainty, pretty shoes.
Exactly.
So I understand. But it alters the silhouette,
Yeah.
especially when you're giving us something classier, which isn't really your vibe.
Yeah.
You have camp and kitsch in your looks, but there's also, again, like I said, it makes sense what you're doing. I think I fell in love with you originally with the burger bikini, which was very early on, and I loved it, and I kind of got your number at that point.
Yeah.
And then it progressively got worse and better at the same time.
Yeah.
Do you think you get your aesthetic from kind of being in the, can I say white trash belt
Oh, absolutely.
of the country?
Absolutely.
Because that's where my bloodline hails from.
Oh
as
yeah,
well.
and especially like with my entrance look with the corn and you know just this like county fair pageant.
Love.
Yeah, with like the nastiest bright blue eyeshadow, you know, and I've had to like kind of reframe this appreciation of like where I came from or what I kind of like grew up around because I always felt I just had to like run away from it and become something else. And then it was like, well, how do I include that back into my life? And it just sort of like always comes out in my drag. So I was like, all right, we're just gonna go to 100. We're just gonna run with it.
You have been through the gamut of emotions
Oh yeah.
this season. And you have been so vulnerable and open and honest with your struggles with addiction. You are sober now.
Yeah.
Your past name was Trash,
Yeah.
which I relate, I get it. And when you left the name Trash behind and moved on to Darlene Mitchell, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Was it part of breaking up with your past?
A little bit. Like it was definitely where like I felt like I didn't quite, Trash didn't resonate as much, you know? And I really kind of had to reform the relationship with drag even, because it was kind of like, well, I'm not like in nightclubs as much anymore. I'm no longer, you know, getting like completely, you know, drunk out of my mind and being trash falling down the stairs, you know, like that was the girl that I was, you know, just sprinkling trash all over LA. And so for a couple years, I even just like used my out of drag name. I wasn't performing or anything, but you know, taking photos for social media and that sort of thing. And just to see how it fit. And I reached a point where I was like, I'm ready to like, you know, like do it again, you know, like create a character, go for it. So I kind of took the best things that I like about, you know, myself out of drag, my aesthetic out of drag, and things that that trash taught me and that sort of aesthetic. And believe it or not, Darlene Mitchell's the elevated version.
I do believe it. I do, and I love Darlene Mitchell, and I know Trash and I would have been friends as well.
Oh, absolutely.
How difficult is it for you to be in the scene again?
It's almost like I'm in the middle of it, like kind of like still kind of finding that out. And that was kind of like what was so sort of like jarring with the other girls at the beginning. You know, there was a whole series of a bunch of emotions and things happening, you know, coinciding with life and the competition all at once. And oh, by the way, cameras are rolling, you know?
Yeah.
But kind of getting to know them and understanding like how I fit.
It's almost like you're starting all over.
Yeah.
When you took a break to get yourself together, what were you doing to sustain yourself?
I was working in like costumes for TV and film for a few years.
Doing what?
I was a costumer. So
That's
like
amazing.
Local 705.
Oh, you're in the union?
I was, and then I actually just canceled it.
Shut up!
When I knew that like the show was gonna start taking off, I was like, so listen, I need, because I kept it all those years.
This all makes sense, Darlene.
Yeah.
Everything you gave was just so much fun. You never lip synced.
Never lip synced.
What is that like? I mean, were you sitting
That-
there going, I think I left this competition. I got to the final without lip syncing once.
It was literally like after getting all the way through it, you know, and like really not feeling it in the moment, and then kind of realizing like, I'm kind of iconic. Like, you know what I mean? Like you dream of like, the fact that I did that, just, it's still kind of mind blowing. Iconic.
And you won the roast.
And I won the roast.
Like-
Tell me how?
It was funny, that's how.
Yeah.
You were always good. Your critiques were wonderful. You know, people just edged you out for
Yeah.
whatever reason in some challenges. And I think you really started to release yourself and allow yourself to be who you are.
Totally.
You stopped judging yourself, you stopped shaming yourself, whatever you had attached to your past, something happened where you decided to really release it.
Yeah.
You've done the work, but now in this competition, you really had to put it to use.
Yeah.
And when you did,
I know, and it really sort of felt like that, like in real time. I can even think about the thought that went through my mind in the roast. Like, you know, I brought up my little bag of tricks, you know, and in my mind I'm thinking like, I don't even know if I'm really gonna interact that much. Like, we'll just kind of see.
Right.
Like, I remember reading those first couple ones and like literally cards are shaking and I'm like, oh sister, it doesn't seem like it's going well from here. So like literally that split second just being like, just hit it.
And you
like
did.
just burst through that wall and whatever you got, and like pedal to the metal. You know what I mean? And that's what it did and it paid off. So then literally from then on, I was like, what do I have to lose?
nothing. Let's talk about some of these looks. Now, Miss Greentown,
Yes.
is that Indiana where you're from?
That Greentown, Indiana, that's where she's from. And I knew that I wanted to kind of be like pageanty. Like my mom, when she was in high school, did like the little pageants that were in Greentown. My sister did the little pageants. My sister's best friend was like the county, you know, queen, the 4-H fair queen.
Yeah.
So like there's just always in my mind that's like, I want my turn. Like, you know, so like.
So now you got it.
Yeah, when I walked in, I was like, I'm gonna give full county fair.
It's toddlers and tiaras.
Yeah,
Who
absolutely.
made that?
Mondo. He's a
Guerra.
designer, yep, and killed it.
Yeah, that is so fun. And the middle one, did you put this together?
And this one I did myself.
Yes, there's not much sewing involved there, but however,
Yeah.
who built the burgers?
So the burgers were like just like a food prop. And do you remember the Roach hair clips?
I do, and you know, if I had to describe Darlene Mitchell in one look, it would probably be that one.
Oh, love that. Yeah.
My favorite part of the costume was not the burgers, it is the tube socks that have rhinestones on them.
Yeah, and the girls were like, did you really think that like it needed like a few more rhinestones than that? And I was like, oh no, that's it. Just a little sprinkling, like 1 inch apart. And I'm like, I thought I killed it.
Symmetry.
Yeah, yeah.
Your look behind me is kind of like your RuPaul, Diana Ross grand moment of
Yeah.
I can do glamorous diva.
With the shoe.
Do you see the difference between that shoe and Saya?
Yes, absolutely.
A dainty shoe? Are you
So
gonna...
like, I put the gown on, and I was originally thinking another shoe, because one of the other girls was like helping me, you know, like get dressed. And I'm like, yeah, in an ideal world, that's great.
Did you
and
have it hemmed to that height?
And it was that, and I'm like, you know what? It's the, it's the chunky red.
This gorgeous, beautiful gown here, a clomp, clomp, clomp.
Especially when you can hear it over the runway music.
Hysterical. It is very Darlene Mitchell.
Yeah.
You have been such a joy to watch and to go through this journey with. I'd love to know for you, Darlene Mitchell, what it would mean to you to be crowned America's Next Drag Superstar.
Oof, it would be so many years of having this dream, and to have that come true in this sort of like personal sort of like, like is Renaissance the right word?
Yeah,
like this
yeah.
like sort of like reclaiming, and for like it to happen during this sort of, you know, really, like you said, vulnerable moment that I can like sometimes get into the headspace where I sort of like can judge that a little bit. But I think like one thing that I've learned from this competition is like that journey never ends. You're never at a finishing point.
Correct.
And to be crowned during this sort of moment in my life would just mean that like there's a meaning to that. It would just mean that all that mall drag paid off.
Okay. And honey, there is most definitely a meaning, because you are helping people by being so forthcoming and vulnerable and honest with your emotions, with your experience. That helps people in more ways than one. It also helps you, I would imagine, sharing it and talking about it.
Yeah.
It's been so much fun to watch you and laugh with you and play with you and see how well you took critiques and understood everything and could laugh when I was laughing, and not at you, but with you.
Yeah.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
And I
appreciate
can't
it.
wait to see you out there just conquering the world.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Darlene Mitchell. And thank you for joining me for another episode. I'll see you next time on Whatcha Packin. Bye.
I see the sun shining bright, ain't a cloud in the sky. Yeah, it's a good day.
Hold on a minute. How do you do cosmetology school on Zoom? Don't you have
you
to?
You tell me, State of California handed me the license. But I did all of cosmetology school on Zoom. And at the end, they were like, all right, you're a professional. And I was like, sure, okay.
Hey there, it's Michelle Visage. Do you say yay for gay? Well then join me and subscribe to RuPaul's Drag Race YouTube channel.